In this gaming commentary, we're going to be talking about my personal opinions on the next Call of Duty game, and that is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Before I start this video, I want to also apologize for this video going up late. Even though I do space my videos to have at least 2 weeks in between each one, the past couple weeks have been quite busy for me, so I'm actually making this on the same day that it's being uploaded, so hopefully it will still be relatively polished, but if it's not, then I apologize. What is going on YouTube? King Kevin here with some Black Ops 3 Safeguard gameplay on the map Hunted. So I want to preface this opinion-based video on the fact that I am not trying to jump on the bandwagon to hoard more views or hoard more likes or anything like that. I have watched a lot of Infinite Warfare footage from people both in the competitive Call of Duty scene and people who play it much more casually. I've done a lot of research in terms of how the game works out, what people tend to think about it, and just kind of based on everything else and some hard stats as well, I've come up with this conclusion. And the short of it is, I will not be buying Infinite Warfare at this time. Despite the fact that I do want my channel to be a Call of Duty channel just because I tend to like the franchise and like the series in general, this channel in general is a gaming channel at the heart of it, so it's not such a bad thing if I don't follow Call of Duty exclusively. So now that you guys know my buying decision on the game as it stands today, which is Wednesday, November 16th of 2016, I want to kind of explain the reasons why and explain how I came to this conclusion. So as I just mentioned, I do watch a lot of Call of Duty. I watch a lot of people who play in the competitive scene. I watch a lot of people who just play casually or just upload gameplay however they well please. And I must say that the game just up front does not look as fun as past Call of Duty games have been. Now I mentioned many times on this channel that I am a huge fan of Black Ops 3. It's one of my favorite Call of Duty games, and I personally think Treyarch did a great job with a futuristic Call of Duty. Now whether or not you like futuristic Call of Duty, that is a completely different discussion. Again, we'll save that for another video. But if you look at the progression of the past 3 Call of Duty games, or the latest 3 that are, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and now Infinite Warfare, each of those video games has been made by a different studio in the Call of Duty cycle. So Sledgehammer's with Advanced Warfare, you have Treyarch with Black Ops 3, and now you have Infinity Ward with Infinite Warfare. And of all these 3, Black Ops 3 looked the best to me, and that is actually why I bought it in the first place. I watched a lot of people upload videos online, and in general, it looked like a very fun game. It didn't look too overdone like the jetpacking was in Advanced Warfare, but it didn't look extremely similar to previous boots on the ground Call of Duty, and again, we'll save that conversation for another time. But in general, Infinite Warfare does not look as fun to me. It looks very, very similar to Black Ops 3, and not saying that Black Ops 3 isn't fun to me. I mentioned that I do like the game a lot, but as I did mention in my previous game, the game is starting to get a little bit stale. And because of that, just having another year of more or less the same thing does not seem very fun in my opinion. Additionally, when you look at the hard stats, there was an article posted recently saying that Infinite Warfare has sold almost 50% as many copies as Black Ops 3. And if you're to trace the trend back even further, Black Ops 3 sold much fewer copies. I don't have the number on that, but it sold a fraction of the amount that Advanced Warfare sold. And you guys might be able to easily see a trend here that as the future of Call of Duty progresses into the future, it seems that a lot of people are much less interested in the game and therefore buying less. Therefore, the player base is much smaller than what it used to be. How small that player base is, I'm not entirely sure. You might run into the same people a lot more. I personally don't like that. It's not something that is very refreshing. If you get stuck in the same lobby with the same people over and over again, that can be pretty tiring after a while, especially if the balancing may or may not work out. Infinity Ward probably foresaw this, and that is the main reason why I think they bundled Modern Warfare Remastered with Infinite Warfare. It's not necessarily a thing about money, although that is, and I will explain that a little bit later, but think about it this way. Let's say, I don't know, I'm gonna make up a random number. Let's say 1 million people want to buy COD 4 Remastered and play that game only. They don't give a care in the world about Infinite Warfare, which I think is a lot of people. So you have those 1 million people who want to get COD 4 Remastered, but guess what? Because Infinity Ward bundled it with Infinite Warfare, they have to spend more money on that. And I'm going to put the money aside again for a separate conversation right after this. But that's a million sales of Infinite Warfare that are now on Infinity Ward's like spreadsheet that weren't there before or wouldn't be there before had they sold COD 4 Remastered separately. Now let's jump over to that money conversation I was alluding to a little bit earlier, and that's the fact that if you look at just the money numbers, you know, Infinite Warfare just by itself is $60. If you want COD 4 Remastered, you have to pay $80. So Infinity Ward is making $20 per copy of COD 4 Remastered. And the fact of the matter is, I think there are a lot of people who would pay more than a simple standalone $20 just to get Modern Warfare Remastered on its own without Infinite Warfare. The thing is that Infinity Ward knows that they can get a lot more money if they were to sell COD 4 Remastered just on its own. They could easily charge, I could see maybe $40, $50 just for COD 4 Remastered alone, and I think a lot of people would still buy it. Their numbers on that would be great, their money income on that would be great, and a lot of things would go well in terms of their business financial, but they would not be selling Infinite Warfare, which is what they are trying to do. However, this is not really influencing my opinion in terms of why I do not think I will be buying the game. This is just simply a really large aside just to kind of explain what the business model is and how the whole thing is working. But now on to some actual more things that are kind of persuading me from getting the game. So something that is actually a game changer to me is the map design, and I actually kind of forgot how much I dislike the map design that Infinity Ward decides to go with. I mean, it's very hit or miss with me, but most of the time, I think if I were to sort through the past Call of Duty, so for example, Modern Warfare 2, even though I love that game a lot of the maps, I don't like it when they pop up in the rotation. I usually like groan like, oh, why couldn't we play like some other map or whatever? And in MW3, even though that was like half developed by Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, like the map design there was also very hit or miss. The same seems to be true with regards to the maps in Infinite Warfare, except all of the maps in the rotation seem very confusing to me, and they just seem like there's no flow. It seems like anyone could be anywhere, and the direction of how you play, especially in something like TDM, doesn't seem like it would flow very well. Sure, for games that are oriented around objectives, you have those anchoring points that are the objectives. So in Domination, you have the flags, in Search and Destroy, you have the bomb sites, and things like that. Sure, you have those things to kind of mark down where people are trying to go. But with regards to TDM, which is what I think I would play a lot, and what a lot of people on PC do play a lot, that wouldn't be very flowing, and I think I would get more so frustrated that, oh, I didn't know that an enemy could come from this direction, as opposed to like, oh, I lost to them fair and square in a gunfight, that sort of thing. So that would be something that would really frustrate me a lot, is the maps do not seem to flow very well. So another thing that I think would not bode well for me is the gun balancing. And again, I watch competitive and very casual players, and across the spectrum, it seems like most people agree that the NV4, the ERAD, the Volk, for example, are very, very powerful guns, and those seem to be used by almost every single person in the game. And, you know, sure, you have some other variants of those guns or whatever, but in general, the base guns seem to be still very good. And I'm not to say that I'm against having, you know, weapons that are slightly more powerful than the others, but when everyone seems to gravitate towards the same exact weapons, that's when I have a problem. So those are my three main gripes about the game. The player base is going to be much smaller, and in my opinion, that will be noticeable in game. I don't think I would like the flow of the maps or the maps themselves, and I don't think I would like the weapon balancing. Now, there are a few things in Infinite Warfare that I think I would like just based on past experiences with Black Ops 3, and I do want to give credit where it is due, because I don't want people to think, again, that I am just simply bashing on the video game, because that seems to be the popular thing to do. I really enjoy the exo movement in Black Ops 3, I think it's absolutely perfect. Now, in Infinite Warfare, from what I can gather and what people have said, the exo movement is almost exactly the same. So I do like exo movement. I think that's perfectly fine, and I'm glad that Infinite Warfare did not take the exo movement and bring it that much further down, or they didn't put too many more elements into it like they did in Advanced Warfare. Another thing that I think I would like about Infinite Warfare are these specialists. I think it adds a new and fun element to the game, and I'm really glad that Infinite Warfare decided to keep those specialists around. So that would do it for my video on my opinions on Infinite Warfare, and I would like to know your guys' opinions on the game too. Especially if you guys own the game, what do you like about it and what do you dislike about it? Or if you guys are in the same boat that I am, as in you haven't bought it but there is potential to buy it, what are the factors that, you know, sway you one way or the other with regards to buying the game or not? I would love to hear it, and I would love to have a discussion in the comments with you guys. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
You've seen my work. It speaks for itself.